Google reckons we're going to be there at 10:35, and what time do we actually have to be there?
10:15. Oh my gosh, another bridge that we can't go over.
Tiny bridge with a 2-metre width.
Oh, not again.
It's panicky. I can see a few other people panicking. Feels like I'm filling up at the pumping station. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, but to me it sounds like a weir.
But I wouldn't say it was a complete success today. Don't tell Daz the price.
Hi, I'm Daz and she's Bee, and we're on a 12-week road trip round France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome.
Hello everybody, Future Daz here. As you can see, I'm no longer somewhere that's 30 degrees, I'm somewhere a little bit colder. However, in the last video, you would have seen us messing around in the towns Salette-le-Canada and another little cute town called Carignac. And there's a funny story about how we found that second small town that I thought I'd share with you. So while we were in Salette-le-Canada, in the same town there was a large hospital that had an orthopaedic post-traumatic department, which is the type of department we were after. Rather than try and ring, which we may have tried, we thought, I'll just rock up and maybe we'll get some better answers about whether Indy can have his cast taken off or not. So we drove round to where the hospital was. Indy and I braved it. We went in, went through the door, went up to what looked like the reception, spoke to a lady there in broken French. She was able to say in English, for this, you go up the stairs over here to the first floor and you'll find the department there. So we did that, went through the doors, up the stairs, turned left. Immediately, there's a kind of perspex or glass-fronted cubicle, nobody else around. There's a lady behind the counter who comes over. I check on her little window notice. There's the orthopedic post-traumatic sign, brilliant. Turns out she doesn't actually speak any English at all and also had trouble understanding my French. So I explained, I thought it was pretty obvious. Indy's got a cast on and this is pretty obvious. So he broke his arm. This is in French, by the way. When I talk slowly, it's probably because I'm in French. Oh, and by the way, I've been known to mumble. So if you can't hear me, it might be that. But we've got a new bit of kit that I'm using, testing for this story. Microphone, nicer camera, wider shot, more shots of me and Bee together perhaps. So I pointed, he'd broken his arm back in Le Sable d'Olonne on this particular date, and they said 3 weeks, and I've got the x-rays on my phone, but we haven't got the actual, anyway, she replied, let me get straight, why are you here? Pretty obvious, I've just explained. So he's got a broken arm, and he broke it in 2 places, and they put the cast on there, but we are travelling around France, and so we couldn't stay there to go back and have it seen. So we'd like to come to your hospital to see if your orthopaedic guys would like to take a look at his arm. She didn't really understand that explanation, second explanation, so she's like, no, but why are you here? And I was thinking, right, the sign, we came through, the lady told us to come here, he's broken his arm, the cast needs cutting off. Can we get it done here? Anyway, still a bit of, no complaining. Got the Google phones out. We're all trying to type to each other. Nothing's happening. A couple walk in behind us and I think, great, I've got a little audience now. She says something to him. He says something back. He says, I speak a bit of English and I can help translate. It's like, oh, brilliant. Okay, right. So he broke his arm in a Sable d'Olonne. We're told we have to come back in 3 weeks, but we're travelling around France and we can't come back in 3 weeks. So we've been trying to ring hospitals, but here we are. We're just passing through this town. We thought we'd come to this hospital, laid downstairs, sent us up to this floor, orthopaedic, post-traumatic stress thing. We'd like to find out whether with the x-rays on my phone, we can get a scan done or a consultation with a doctor to find out whether we can get his cast taken off now, whether we need to another 3 weeks keeping the cast on. And he said, okay. And he spoke to the lady and I was thinking, oh my God, thank God, this is finally going to be over and we'll get our answer. He said to me, so the thing is, she wants to know why you're here. Okay, I said, I gathered that. So he's broken his arm and he interrupted me and he said, no, not what's wrong with him. Why are you here? This is the maternity department. And I look round and his wife is obviously with baby. Suddenly, the walls that I thought were bare, actually, I realise are covered in pictures of little babies. And so we explain again what we're after and obviously why we're at this floor level. And he said, the department you need is just down the corridor. And she's going to take you there. So she took us literally about 20 metres down the corridor to another little perspex window. And in 2 minutes flat, they said no. Apparently, they can't do it off of the x-rays on our phone. They needed the full documents. And in France, they don't share documents like the NHS do over here in the UK. They're all independent. And so it didn't work out. Oh, I'm such an amateur. I nearly forgot the whole point of the story. So in the embarrassing small talk that followed, the gentleman who could speak English, once he heard about our story about travelling around France, started recommending little towns to go to. Carignac was his favourite place. And so when we saw it was, I think it was an hour east of where we were, and we had time, we thought, why not go and visit it? So that's how we found out. Thought it was a funny little nugget, I'll share it with you. Anyway, back to the video.
Oh, Chez Paul is busy this morning. We went to Chez Paul's last night. Couldn't wait to get rid of us, could he?
Busy getting rid of us.
Get out, take your tins, and get out by the river.
I'm very conscious of signs that say no motorhomes up certain roads.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a hardship going around this little village, isn't it? Well done, dear. Right, this is the race to the train this morning.
Google reckons we're going to be there at 10:35, and what time do we actually have to be there?
10:15. However, we have pre-booked tickets. We've pre-booked tickets though, so I kind of feel like we can be a bit. We might not get the seat that we want.
We haven't figured out parking either, so we're assuming, because it's a tourist attraction, there'll be coach parking. They must have thought about camping cars because there'll be plenty of them. If they haven't, well, let's not even go there, shall we? We won't even go there.
We'll follow the steam train on our motorhome on the tracks. Oh my gosh, another bridge that we can't go over.
Tiny bridge with a 2-metre width. We basically shave off Stampy's sides trying to go down it.
Oh, not again.
Right, I'm not getting alternatives. Well, this has been quite the challenge. We've arrived late thanks to a very tiny bridge. Access it on foot down here, B. The train goes in 12 minutes. We'll just squeeze our way in down here. Don't worry about it, kids. Just panicky. I can see a few other people panicking. Bear in mind, if you bring a motorhome to this train station, you're going to need to turn up early because this car parking outside is tiny. But there is a massive field of car parking for 300 spaces. A 5-minute fast walk away. Hopefully we're going to make this because it looks about ready to go. Even got some attendants who look like they've been here a long time.
Oh wow! This is amazing!
Okay, it's ridiculously full.
There we go, some seats up there.
Hey, there we go. So we're sat opposite, sadly, we didn't manage to get a seat. Yes, don't arrive late,
No,
basically.
exactly.
The moral today's.
I'm just glad we got on the train at all because I was completely envisaging having to go, please can we go on the next train and paying for another 50 euros.
Yeah.
So my 13-year-old, the environmentalist, says, what's the appeal of steam trains? It's just another way to burn fossil fuels. Yes, he has got a good point, but what a way to bring yourself down after narrowly missing your train.
The Martel truffle train is an 8-mile round trip that takes you on a panoramic journey along the Dordogne Valley at a height of more than 80 metres.
We're about to go through a tunnel that is 265 metres long.
Departing from the medieval city of Martel, you can catch a steam or a diesel train, though you'll pay a little more for the former. We paid around 50 euros for our family of 3 adults and 2 children. Yes, once again, adults start from 12 years old. As you can see, it was incredibly busy in the summer holidays, so don't do what we did. Get there around 45 minutes before departure and then you'll be guaranteed a seat. The line that is carved into the Mirandol cliffs used to run from Bordeaux to Aurillac, and it took 4 years to build. After the steel rails were pulled up for the First World War, they were replaced with some American rails. The trains were used to transport truffles, and Martel was renowned for its truffle market, hence why the train became known as Le Truffadou.
hard to believe that in that cliff there, that's just being hidden by a tree, there is a tunnel running all the way through it, and we've just been through.
There was even a little rest stop for drinks and souvenirs.
So the train was built in the 1800s, I suppose that would be Victorian times, and it was a train line that went all the way to Bordeaux. And then during wartime, the First World War, they had to close the train down for military needs, but apparently there's still part of an American line that's used on this train line too. Then in 1919, the railway opened up again, but with the primary purpose of transporting truffles to Martel market, which was the biggest market in France at the time. Then in 1980 it ceased operation. In the 1990s a group of volunteers decided to turn it into a tourist operation, and my goodness me, we can tell from today that it is really, really successful. This train is absolutely chock-a-block, and it cost us €50 for 2 adults and 3 children to go on this journey, and there are hundreds of people here today, so it's obviously a successful tourist operation.
And so it was time to go back to Martel, and after the panicked dash to the train, it was nice to be transported back in time to a slower pace of life, and to be reminded if you travel by steam, you'd get covered in ash.
So we had a lovely steam train ride this morning, and now we're heading into the medieval town of Martel to grab ourselves a drink and have a little look around.
Martel dates back to the 12th century, and there are myriad well-preserved medieval houses and winding passages on cobbled streets. There are markets every Wednesday and Saturday in the 18th century open-air market hall which dominates the square, but on this day there appeared to be some kind of comic artist and graphic novel convention, with talented artists and authors signing books and producing unique artworks for eager fans. We noticed this in France, how popular graphic novels were, as they lined the shelves of nearly every supermarket we visited. But it was definitely time for some refreshment, so we settled down outside a bar in the main square.
Santé! Oi, get off me beer! And now Martel, another beautiful medieval town. It's just hard to put into words just how amazing these places are, and you just want to soak it all up. But it is quite hard to soak it all up when you've got 3 children with you. So as always, we are aborting our journey a little bit earlier than we perhaps like if we were alone, because we've got to make sure everybody is fed.
And for all the nerds out there, here's a nice round 2,000 miles on the tripometer to feast your eyes on.
It's nearly 8 o'clock. When I took Sammy for a walk down the road to see how far the river was away, it turned out the lot is 3 or 4 minutes walk away, and there was a guy putting a canoe in. I thought, why not talk to him in French? Tried to ask him whether there's a permit or license needed, and he seemed to sort of say it's all free. So he suggested some things upstream and then promptly got in the river and paddled the other way. So I'm not entirely sure what he was talking about. However, I do know there's a very beautiful bridge, 2 bridges round. So if the current's a bit strong, I'll just stick to the sides and give up.
Good luck, babe. Well done. Motivating yourself to do this. Bear in mind there is rain due at 9 according to my phone, so you better get down there quick.
Thunderstorm, isn't it? Eh? Dad in his 40s carelessly went out just ahead of a thunderstorm. Well, here I am at the Lot River, right by our park up. It's almost as still as a lake, to be honest. And I believe there's a very beautiful bridge underneath that railway bridge. I'm just about to go out, so my only worry is I've got no gnat spray on, and this looks as still as a pond, so I'll probably get bitten to death. But come tomorrow, I know I won't have any regrets. So this is a very unique view for most tourists down here. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, but to me it sounds like a weir. So I'm slightly worried that the people up there can see something I can't. Now this water appears to have 2 trees in the middle of it, and the sound of rushing water. looking down, there is actually a steady flow going under the bridge, which wasn't back there when I launched. So I'm going to keep clear of this invisible line here that's drawn between, I don't know, what might be a mill over there and something over there, because I think there's a big fall over there, and luck is not on our side. So I'm going to head back. Yeah, I'm definitely getting weir type vibes from the sound over there. So before I drift into something far more dangerous, I think I better get out here. Tell you what, it's alright this paddleboarding lark.
So, today we attempted to eat out in a vegan restaurant. We thought we'd give it a stab. So we found a place that was highlighted as vegetarian with vegan options. Unfortunately, because it's a small restaurant and they only do a couple of dishes a day, the only vegan option was to take the eggs off the vegetarian salad. They did have something else with goat cheese, but that didn't appeal to the two vegetarians in my family, so there was a lot of salad, and of course that is not everybody's bag. So we've just ordered our food. There is a vegan salad with broccoli and salady bits and things, which Indy wasn't so keen on, but he's really glad that there is a kombucha, because he likes kombucha. She also revealed that she has a vegan crumble, and Indy's eyes lit up when he heard this, so he is going to have his kombucha and vegan crumble. So yes, it was a challenge, even when we found a vegan / vegetarian restaurant. However, the puddings. Let's go on to the puddings. The puddings were sensational, obviously all vegetarian puddings. There were about 4 or 5 different selections, and there was a vegan selection, which was the crumble, and it was absolutely delicious. So it was so nice to have something that was in a restaurant, home cooked, served to us, that was vegan. So it can be done, but I wouldn't say it was a complete success today. So 2 of our boys have come away hungry. We've had to go and buy a pizza in a local overpriced supermarket.
We also knew that a visit to Cathedral Saint-Etienne was essential, as one of my sons likes to visit places that share his name, and there are many in France. Another interesting artefact is the Saint-Coiffe, or the holy headdress, which is believed to have been used during Jesus' burial. The blood-stained headdress was very small, and after a little more research we discovered it would have held his jaw in place. Charlemagne had given it to the Bishop of Cahors in the year 803. It's only been on show recently, since 2019.
So here we are at Pont Ventra, and just behind me is the Devil's Tower. Can you see that little figure there? There he is. That's the devil taking a few stones out of the bridge each night. This is according to the legend of Pont Ventra, because apparently the guy that was originally working on the building of the bridge, it was just taking him a little bit too long. So he decided to make a pact with the devil, and he said, if you help me build this bridge faster, then you can have my soul. So the devil said, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I'll help you build the bridge a little bit faster, and then I can have your soul. And so they were building the bridge a little bit faster. And then the guy that was building the bridge regretted his decision hugely, because he was thinking, actually, I'd probably quite like to still have my soul. So as the bridge was being completed, the guy said to the devil, listen, I've got to make sure that everybody's had a drink. Can you take this sieve and can you go and collect up some water for all the people that have been working on this bridge? And so the devil agrees to this. But of course, he realises once the guy that was originally in charge of building the bridge has disappeared, he's very annoyed and decides to remove a little piece of brick off the bridge each night so that it's never completed and it always has to be corrected. So that is the theory. During the 1800s, when they were doing some renovation work on the bridge, they decided to add that little devil that you can see just behind me.
We were just enjoying watching the weir and the water flow, and suddenly realised this was the bridge that Daz was under yesterday. Oh my goodness me.
Now this is another thing you can visit on your trip to Cahors. It's spelled Cahors, but you say Cahors apparently. That is the water museum over there, but there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to persuade these 3 monkeys to go to the water museum over there. So that's something to think about if you were there. So this little imp has been added in the 1800s just to remind us of the legend of the bridge.
No, it's not.
But what do you think it's for then?
In the story it said the guy tricked him and then the devil, so he wouldn't take away a stone every day so it was never finished. He put an imp there, and every time the devil looks at the bridge and sees this imp, he goes, oh yeah, I set that guy to take away the brick for me.
Oh well, there we go, I stand corrected.
This bridge was built in the late 14th century. Lots of it didn't survive, but it's looking pretty good now.
This feels weird. It's only water, but it feels like I'm filling up at the pumping station. It's the first for me on this where you get to open a door. Chemical toilet bit. It's rather restricted space-wise. And earlier on, this hose was just dangling down over that bit. Again, questionable sanitary situation. Anyway, we're topping up now before I drive down to Montauban. Goodbye, Cahors.
Yes, 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 yes. I spotted those chocolat au lait. Then we have chocolat noir. And it only has traces, which is what they put on everything. So it is actually vegan, yes. Don't tell Daz the price. Someone is turning 11 in just over a week, and we've just secured about 6 days on a campsite. So that should be when Indy's cast is gone and they can really enjoy the water, and it's down in the south of France. So, got to make sure we are set, and Daz and I just remembered that we can order presents to get sent directly to the campsite via French Amazon, so fingers crossed we can get birthdays sorted. And these are fairly essential too. Well, we're finally in the Tarn-et-Garonne region. We're about an hour and a half away from Auch, if that's the right way to pronounce it. And that is where our 13-year-old's hospital appointment is in 2 days' time, which is where we need to head to. There you go. That's me looking as French as I possibly can, walking past the Mary's office, 2 baguettes and a stripy top. Dead end, I think. No, I'm not in the jungle. We are in Montauban, and we were just walking through and I was thinking, yeah, I'll give it a chance. It's just a city, it's big, it's going to be urban. We suddenly found ourselves in a haven of tranquility. Beautiful park. What an interesting cathedral.
We discovered Montauban was the city of red bricks, with the church of Saint-Jacques being a fine example. It still has visible cannonball impacts from the wars of religion, and the bell tower is octagonal. There are no remains of the original church, which was rebuilt from 1241.
So, Montauban, with their toy museum closed today, the best we could think of doing was coming to the Natural History Museum. I think that sign means to eat or to be eaten. It'll be a good test of our animal knowledge in French to see if we can read the signs. I've already made a mistake. I interpreted this as a yellow Asian elephant, whereas Dad said, no, I think you mean a young Asian elephant. And yes, it's definitely young. It's really cute.
With the old wooden cabinets and creepy taxidermy, it really felt like we'd stepped into a private collector's room from 200 years ago.
So this elephant here used to be part of a circus in the 20s, and in the winter the circus family used to come and spend their time in Montauban. And when the elephant died, they donated the remains to the city on the condition that it was naturalised. And so it was naturalised about 100 years ago by the same person who stuffed this little elephant 140 years ago, which makes them almost as old as B.
Not funny. Oh, now this is just the perfect medicine. We've just found the central square, and here's a beautiful, great big fountain, and the water is lovely. And we've now found ourselves in a Spas Heracles, and we're wondering whether these are Heracles' arrows. Now Heracles is famous for the 12 tasks. It's a very exciting Greek myth. So I wonder what relevance he has to Montauban.
I discovered that the sculptures were a tribute to the famous Montaubanese sculptor Antoine Bourdelle, this being an enlargement and a revival of his original work.
My 13-year-old, who was absolutely obsessed with Greek myths when he was about 6 or 7 years old, I just had to fact check it and I said, well, what is the relevance of the archery? Was he going and getting Hippolyta from the Amazon? And he said yes, he had to get Hippolyta's crown with his arrows, but he also had to shoot down some pretty vicious birds as well. So he's a wealth of knowledge when I don't know stuff.
It was time to mosey back through the Jardin des Plantes back to the motorhome after a busy day of exploring.
Well, that was a lovely little trip into Montauban. I just returned to Stampy to see my temporary fixed bin bag window is now half hanging off, which is starting to look horrific, isn't it? So it's going to be, I mean, we're still carrying around this. It's getting extra little bits of gaffer tape just to add to the prettiness of it all. I've got to get the ladder out, yeah, from inside. Stick some more tape up there. Funnily enough, I did buy a ladder to bring with us, but it weighed so much I sent it back. Luckily, we've got a little one that comes with the bunk. Let's hope that lasts another day or two.
Could do without the wind, couldn't we? Yeah, especially from this candidate.
He seems to be fascinated by his own reflection.
We stay in Montauban for one more day to take advantage of the river and to visit the Montauban Toy Museum, and we head to the hospital.
So we've made it to the hospital just outside of Cahors. I am full of anxiety this morning.
We find our own little bit of paradise until Daz spots something floating in the water.
Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and well done for you if you got this far. Feel free to leave a comment, as we love hearing from you, and subscribe if you want to see more. Until our next escape, thanks for watching.